The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy. Greetings and salutations, listeners. I, Eric J. Chucci, joined, as always, by... Was there a tag match tonight? Yes. The Apollo to my Titus ONeil, the boy.
Do you have to go ooh now?
Whoa.
Hey.
I wish you guys could have been there for my running commentary. I cannot reproduce any of it because I don't remember it. Just for that match, though. The rest of it was fine. They were talking about Elimination Chamber 2018, WWE Pay-Per-View. Description of my thing. Click on my friends' links and buy their stuff. Buy my stuff. Subscribe, like, and comment.
Hit the bell. Don't hit the bell.
Don't fucking hit the bell.
All right. So
I don't want to ever annoy anyone that much.
So.
Yeah, this was an alright show.
Yeah, this was a pretty good show. It wasn't as good as the last show, but it was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Fuck it. Let's get hardcore.
What if we just posted that?
God. I think that the half a dozen people that really tune into our podcast would be like, oh, I wanted the blow by blow.
We're here for you. The many aspects of Ultimo Dragon.
Yeah. I want to touch on this super briefly because a lot of it's still up in the air. As I'm sure you guys have heard because you pay attention to wrestling, and we're not a news program. In a shareholder meeting, it was quote-unquote leaked that WWE is considering going to dual-branded pay-per-views.
This is a solid enough thing. They've already changed the Wikipedia page for the upcoming pay-per-views.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how everything's going to fall out because they're saying they want 5 hours. I've heard 5 hours plus the pre-show, and I've heard 5 hours including the pre-show. 4 hours for a dual-branded pay-per-view isn't that bad.
But 5 hours plus the pre-show. Not that I watched the pre-show.
Sure.
But 5 hours is excessive.
That's
it's excessive, guys.
Now
Calm down.
I have a lot of feelings about this. But what comes out in the wash is that if they end up going 5 hour pay-per-views, I don't know if we have the fortitude to continue doing monthly WWE.
To quote Mr. Incredible, I can't. I'm not strong enough.
We're gonna keep going up until through WrestleMania,
minimum,
regardless. Yeah. So there's nothing you have to worry about anytime soon. And who knows if the product continues being as good as this is? 5 hours is still really long.
Yeah, no. Even if it's a good product, even if it's doing well, it's 5 hours, man.
Yeah.
I could watch 2 good movies in that amount of time.
Vampire in Brooklyn and a second viewing of Vampire in Brooklyn.
Exactly.
And you'd still have time to spare. You could go to the bathroom in between and get snacks. So yeah, there's a bit of an uncertain future, but for the time being, we're keeping the network so we can still do classic pay-per-views even if shit goes pear-shaped there.
Actually, the bathroom joke. This is entirely unrelated to the show that we're talking about, but it's a thing that I've been talking about people at my day job. I have a couple wrestling friends at my day job, and we've been talking about it, and none of us can figure out why you would buy tickets to a pay-per-view. I can't figure it out. I don't understand it. Because it's super expensive. Unless you pay a lot of money, it's shitty seats. And, you can't pause. Or go get snacks from your own fridge, and you can't be, in comfy pajamas. I understand why I would go to, a local wrestling show. The prices aren't all that bad, and I'm right up there, right next to the action, and I'm part of, a unit. The crowd atmosphere is there. But with the WWE pay-per-views, the arenas are always so big now that the crowd is all dispersed, and even from home, I can tell that the crowd doesn't feel like one cohesive unit anymore because it's so big. You lose that energy. So as a fan, I can't fathom why I would buy tickets to anything but a house show. Now, I'm happy that you do, because you buying tickets, ticket buying people, are the whales of this free-to-play game that keep it running, and I respect that. But I can't understand why anyone would do it. Like, even secondary pay-per-views make more sense to me than I don't know why anyone buys tickets to WrestleMania.
Well, I have two answers.
Okay.
One, you don't play video games. Wrestling is your life.
Like, if that were true?
Sure. You don't really go to movies. You don't, buy toys unless they're like wrestling toys. Wrestling is what you do. So the money that we spend on video games and high-speed internet, etc., can go to wrestling tickets.
Okay. All right.
Two, when I was a child, $20 was a fortune. Now that I've actually worked and I know, the price of things, $20 is a pittance.
Right.
Were I some sort of Fortune 500 CEO, the amount of price you drop on anything but WrestleMania tickets is a pittance.
Couple $100, yeah. But, like, I don't believe that the WWE is popular enough with the 1% for them to be filling up arenas all the way around the country with those people.
No, sure. And a lot of times you get, like, year passes with your companies if they have, like, business with the WWE. Because for the last 2 years, we've been seeing long-haired big-nosed man in the front row.
True.
So, like, he's clearly either very wealthy or has, some sort of hookup. You see a lot of the same fans a bunch of times,
Well, especially in the first 2 rows, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine those are mostly people with passes or people who are really rich or what have you. But there's the rest of those arenas. I don't understand it. I'm happy that you're having a good time. I'm not shitting on your good time, but I don't know why you do it. The WWE Network is so much better. It costs me $10 and I can be in my gym jams.
I mean, yeah, I would love to one day go to a professional wrestling show that I knew was going to be decent, or I got to see 3 wrestlers I liked.
Whoa, he's got high hopes.
Yeah.
Apple pie in the sky.
Dream big.
But back to the show.
Sure.
About.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot to say about this, so I don't mind entertaining some offshoot stuff. I don't even really have many nitpicks, to be honest with you, and that's usually my role. I'm usually nitpick guy. So let's just blast down the card like we always do.
Don't watch the pre-show, so moving right along.
Yeah.
The first match, they opened with the Women's Elimination Chamber, and I've been following wrestling so poorly since the Rumble that I didn't know that was a thing, so that was a fun surprise. It was well good. It was well good.
Yeah,
it was actually, the story in it was told really well, too.
Yeah.
They set up the story really well in the beginning with like various different factions and all that shit. It was actually, like, I liked it. It was good storytelling, good wrestling, and the right person won. So,
I would have been happy with a Bayley win.
Oh, same. I think I would have been happy. I almost would have been happier with a Bayley win, but not really because, all right, so if Bayley wins, then she goes on to fight Asuka at minimum. We haven't talked about the rest of the card. No spoilers.
Asuka won.
Oh, no! Then she goes on to fight Asuka at WrestleMania, and I want Bayley to beat Asuka at some point. I want Bayley to take that streak, because that's good storytelling, like you mentioned when we were watching it.
Yeah.
But I want Asuka to win at WrestleMania. And if I want Asuka to win at WrestleMania, I want her to win over a heel champ, just to make sure the audience is 100% behind her.
Sure.
And, I mean, some of the audience aren't going to be, because some of the audience are bad people, and some of the audience also like Alexa Bliss. Those aren't the same.
I'm sure there's a Venn diagram.
I'm sure.
Honestly, both of these Elimination Chambers, I knew it was going to come down to one of 2 people winning, and I was slightly wrong on the first one, but and I was comfortable with either one, and I was wrong both times.
I was right about both my predictions for this, because I recognize when the WWE has some stuff locked in and aren't going anywhere.
I always like a little bit of a... Swerve is such a dirty word.
There's a time for surprises, and there's a time to get the business done that you've been setting up.
All right, at the same time, like, what is the point of this pay-per-view, then? This and Fastlane, the speed bump pay-per-views. If it's just status quo, why do we have it? Why don't we go from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania.
Well, one, need at least one pay-per-view this month. Two, they aren't status quo. Like, you have to decide who's going in. Even if all the Smarks and me, who I decline the title Smark, even though it's very accurate. If we all know what's going to happen, that doesn't mean that it's what's happened in universe. Just like it's kind of like asking. I mean, we know the superhero's going to win in the Marvel movie. Why even have the movie then?
Well, no, that's not quite the same thing. Like, especially in these cases, what necessarily did we gain by
Cool
the
wrestling
Alexa
matches.
Bliss victory here?
Cool wrestling matches.
All right, but we could have had that after WrestleMania, and it would have been a bit more interesting.
No, because it's Elimination Chamber. Like, if we're going to do a chamber, we gained the first women's chamber match, and a cool match at that, a well-told story, and the winner being someone that doesn't upset good storytelling down the line.
I just, I don't know. It's been a while since they've... No, I remember the last time they surprised us. It didn't go well.
Yeah,
so,
see, you're be like, what? I would like surprises. I refer you to Billis Goldbergus and the wacky surprise victory times.
Yeah, it was a bad wrestling, and it did a lot of bad things, but my God, just watching the wrestling community during... Actually, Jinder Mahal wasn't bad.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't hinder Jinder. Everyone was mad about that surprise.
Yeah, watching both of those was just... Watching the wrestling community during both of those was just really...
Like, you're that little girl...
trip.
You know that picture of the little girl, like, she's smiling and the house behind her is on fire? You're that.
In this scenario, yeah. Because, like, so that I can enjoy the product, I have to distance myself from a lot of that behavior. Otherwise, I won't. I'll be the worst of those people.
Yeah, because you'll armchair book and you'll get it in your head of this thing you'd really love to see happen, and when they don't do that thing, you get mad.
Sure.
Because you know how cool the thing you wanted would be.
Because I made it up.
I wasn't going to say that.
It's the only fucking reason any of you do it. Don't even try to lie to me.
I can do it better.
I'll come for you!
I'm sorry, I can do it better.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
a smartass.
That's... It's exactly that. These people get so riled up about it, and I like watching them get that riled up. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't.
You like watching them get worked. I understand.
It's good. It's good to see the product doing its thing.
Oh, well, and if you like watching Smarks get worked, the finish of the main event should be right up your alley. Anyway.
This first match, great showing by everyone in it. Mandy Rose was a little bit of a... But everyone else did really well.
Kind of her job in her current faction is to be a little bit of a...
We had a nice crowd reset with Titus Worldwide versus Gabbar. I'm glad that Titus ONeil
is wrestling.
Got to have a higher profile match. He does a lot of their outreach stuff. He's in all of the video packages where they visit sick children and shit like that.
I forgot how fucking big he is.
He's big.
Like, he's a, like, I don't just mean, like, he's tall and muscly. I mean, like, all of his dimensions are...
He's just a large...
outsized. He's a large dude, but he's not fat. He's just big all over.
Yeah, he's large competition Titus.
No,
I
lost.
love Dana Brooke's new gimmick as the statistician. That's fantastic.
I thought it was Lana for a second because she's dressed like her, but no, it was she's too athletic looking to be Lana. That sounds mean, but... She's got too much meat on her.
Yeah, Lana's a dancer. Dana Brooke is a bodybuilder.
That's the difference.
Is the difference you're saying there.
But, like, I think it's a fun... Like, I hated it until I noticed she was actually taking notes on stats at ringside, and I immediately loved it. It sold me immediately. I'm down. I'm here. I'm here for this.
I like this. The crowd
I love...
hates Apollo. That boy gets X-Pac heat. You want to talk X-Pac heat? That's X-Pac heat.
And he hasn't done anything to deserve it.
He was badly booked briefly on SmackDown for about 2 months, and no one has forgiven him.
The poor guy, like, he can't catch a break. They even took off his last name.
Yeah, how you gonna steal a man's name?
Well, I mean, they took off the word Cruz because now he's wrestling with Kmart Terry Crews, so... Titus, if you're one of the people who comes to Ultimo Dragon's house and listens to this, you're really big. Don't hurt me. It was a joke.
I think it's a bit of a compliment. Who wouldn't want to be the Kmart Terry Crews?
I would pay a large amount of fucking money to be the Kmart Terry Crews.
I thought this match was really good. And I was glad to see the crowd was less shitting on the work and more booing the wrestlers. That was a good consistency throughout the night.
Yeah. I dropped a thing. I love the bar. Their gimmick is so, like, it's clean and it's so interesting. They're visually really cool looking. Their bad guy antics are really entertaining.
You know, honestly, people talk a lot about, even the guys themselves talk about how the Revival are the new Brainbusters.
No, they aren't.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
the Bar are a lot closer.
If I was ever to go and spend that ridiculous amount of money to get close seats at a WWE live event, I would do it at a place where I knew the Revival was going to be, and I would bring a big sign that says "You'll never be the Brainbusters," and I would make sure to show it to them every time they were looking at me. Because you'll never be the Brainbusters. You aren't fit to tie their fucking boots.
Gonna do the Larry Zbyszko salute, and back to the next match. The Bar won. I don't know if that needed to be announced. The next contest was the Nia Jax versus Asuka match. We already spoiled it. Had Jax won, she would have been added to Asuka's championship match at WrestleMania 3-4. This was, I think, I'll let you tell this story because I believe you were pleasantly surprised by it.
As I'd like to mention this whenever it happens on the podcast. Not that it doesn't happen often. I am dumb after all, but I still like to mention it. I had to crow a little bit on this one because Nia Jax. I still think this sentence is true. Nia Jax isn't a terribly good wrestler. She's a great attraction. She's a good monster, but she's not a terribly good professional wrestler. And that bothers me. Not like internet smart level bothers me. I'm not gonna go make a forum post about her work rate or anything. But it's just normally all her stuff is really underwhelming. So I was honestly sort of mad this match was getting booked because I saw an amazing talent get booked with someone who is not able to be on their level, and thus it's a waste of a booking. Kind of the same way that, like, people were mad about AJ Styles fighting Shane McMahon. That sort of anger is where I was. I was in a very smarky place. And I have to say, Nia proved me wrong. That was a really good performance. It wasn't just Asuka carrying her. She did her part of the match. She held up her end of that match really well. She got to do really cool shit. And that, I think, is actually part of the problem, is that she's not a very good professional wrestler, but she's not even been allowed to be a really good superstar because she never gets to do the cool shit that monster heels are supposed to do. Look at all the cool shit they've let Braun Strowman do. He's flipped ambulances and killed trucks, and I think he ate a garbage truck.
He was a garbage truck.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was a garbage truck. Nia Jax has gotten to do none of that, and she usually loses. Whereas Braun loses once in a blue fucking moon. She hasn't been booked strong, and she hasn't been booked to be doing cool, impressive things. So I don't buy her as a monster, and since I'm not sold on her athletic capability, there's nothing to draw her in. In this match, that was not true. She was booked incredibly strong, even though she lost. She was shown to be an incredibly viable contender to the top caliber of women's talent, Asuka, who I think it's really undisputed at this point is the top caliber of the women's locker room. And she was booked well, and she got to do cool shit. A couple of my favorite spots where someone pulls like an arm bar move, and then the bigger person picks them up and power bombs them to get them to drop them, which is always cool. And then after the match, she beat Asuka up because she was mad about Asuka getting a wily win off on her. Both really cool things.
She also exploded a barricade.
Yeah, I mean, just imploded the thing. It went to fucking shrapnel with more energy than I've seen the men's talent wrestlers put into that exact spot in the last year.
Yeah, usually it crumples, and no, she exploded it, and then she threw a piece and nearly decapitated the ref.
which was also great.
It was just some good business in the background. I think the biggest problem with Nia Jax, well, I think there's two. One, Nia Jax.
She's got some attitude issues.
She does. I've been following her career backstage for a while now, and she really waffles on whether this is what she wants to do. But I think she's got a fire under her ass, and that's good. Two, she's twice the size of everyone she wrestles.
Yeah, what was it? The don't mention a better content on your content. Another video referred to, what was it? The difference between Edge and Rey Mysterio as two body types so different they'd clip through each other if they were creator wrestlers.
I don't remember where I heard that or where you heard that rather, but
yeah, no, that's the problem. Nia Jax and everybody she wrestles in the women's division is like Rey Mysterio fighting Batista. It's just a ridiculous David versus Goliath. And they did that really well here. They actually managed to sell Asuka as an underdog.
Well, and following that attack, she gets even more underdog heat despite being undefeated against Alexa Bliss. That's awesome.
Despite being undefeated for like hundreds of matches and years of time. And she's got a Goldberg-esque streak going, and she actually looked like the underdog in this match. And that's down both to her for selling like she was gonna try and sell snow to Eskimos, just completely ridiculous, amazing, over-the-top ability to put over her opponent. And it was down to Nia Jax really like going for it, really like playing up how completely out of her physical league Asuka was.
You know, with pay-per-views being dual branded, I wouldn't say no to a women's tag team championship. Whatever Impact Wrestling ran one for a while. But with the breadth of roster that WWE has now, it's a viable thing. And I would love to see...
I wouldn't say no to a Nia Jax feud.
It's exactly that, just a feud with that, or them as tag team partners and dominating the tag championships. Be good shit. I think they could both... learn a lot from each other and work off each other well.
And I think it gets them both out of the women's title scene, which is actually good, because with those two, they're so outsized compared to the rest of their competition. Much like with Braun Strowman, there's always that question in the back of your mind of, why the fuck isn't Nia Jax the champion?
Sure.
Why has she not eaten Alexa Bliss already?
Then we had Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. This was fun.
Yeah, this was just a fun reset match. Mm-hmm. Like it was woken Matt Hardy went over Bray Wyatt. Poor Bray Wyatt.
He needs to do something new.
Honestly, at this point, you're right, and I hate that because he shouldn't have had to.
No,
that
I agree.
World Championship push was so good. If they just stuck with the gimmick he had, the still Bray Wyatt but actually taking shit seriously now gimmick he had leading up to his world title win last year at Elimination Chamber, he would be fucking amazingly over right now. He'd be a main event star. But they've turned so hard into goofy horse shit with him that the gimmick is fucking dead. You have to change it, reinvigorate it, move a piece, do some shit. Change up. Because the gimmick is dead. No one will ever take Bray Wyatt in his current iteration seriously again. You can't. Because one, he's done too much goofy horse shit. And two, he never wins matches.
I don't know, man. People still take Dolph Ziggler seriously.
No, they don't. The only people taking Dolph Ziggler seriously are the people booking the matches, and they're not either. He's there to fill a seat.
But I don't know that he needs to reinvent entirely. I just think
I don't think so entirely, but he needs to change some shit up because.
And then ideally get a feud where he wins.
Yeah, just like, you know how he beat Matt Hardy and then that started the new broken Matt Hardy? That was the thing that let them do their little victory dance over Impact. That only except he wins and then that's the end of the feud and it stops and they stop wrestling. He goes in a feud, like 2-3 matches with a guy and then beats him and then that's it. It's over. He beats him. He wins. Move on. That he needs like 2 of those, honestly.
Hell, you want to get a big crowd pop, have him feud with Kurt Angle's Totally Real Kid when he comes back from injury.
Yeah, actually, that would be great. Like, that guy comes out, and Bray Wyatt's like, it just comes out, and, like, have him break the Bray Wyatt character just a little bit of, why are you here? What are you doing? Get out! And then, Bray Wyatt at him a little, but mainly just, like, no, but for real, why are you here? What do you think you're accomplishing? No one is buying this. Leave. And then he beats him, and then that guy goes away.
Like, I mean, just some legitimacy would help. I don't want to belabor the point too much more, but just, like, you can't call yourself the eater of worlds when you've had a shit track record like this. Dolph Ziggler wasn't making such strong overtures. He's still trying, I guess. But, Bray Wyatt is supposed to be so much bigger, badder, and better than that, and he's not.
And I keep going on about it because it's really frustrating because I think he's an amazing talent.
Sure, no, I agree. I think he got fucked from the get-go when they decided to have him attack King and go on that forever losing streak of feuds.
Because he dared to get over with a bad guy gimmick. And they're past that now, I think.
They're getting past it.
They're getting over it, as it were. But that was before.
Remember before, when you ruined Bray Wyatt? Now you're doing much better. And you'll go there again. We all do. But then you'll just have to pick yourself back up and make a new Daniel Bryan.
That is 2% of the audience joke.
Gotta get it down to that smallest possible circle until one guy is losing his shit.
We had the Ronda Rousey contract signing.
That was
fun.
I thought that was gonna suck, and I'm mad she didn't point.
We chanted point for a while.
But they really made hay out of that segment. One, Stephanie and Triple H are just the most amazing Boris and Natasha that could ever possibly exist.
I absolutely love I'm just glad to be here, Kurt Angle.
Oh God, and like it wasn't such of a much. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about, but it was fun.
Yeah,
it was a fun time.
It was 5-10 minutes of my time that was pretty laughable. That shall bring us to the Man's Elimination Chamber.
Oh, and the extra large, not just because Big Strong Man is in it, but also because there was literally an extra person in it.
It was The Miz. He didn't deserve to be there.
It was Elias. He was the only one who was 1,000% not winning.
You said The Miz really funny. Actually, I liked Miz's performance during this. He shook things up just slightly enough that I wasn't watching the same Miz match I've seen for the last 3 years.
I have made my feelings on The Miz being excellent very clear. I think this was an excellent match.
I thought it was good. I thought it was on par with the women's match.
Not better, not worse.
Yeah.
Different,
Sure.
on par.
There was a couple of spots that were pretty similar too, though.
Yeah. They even
it might have been paybacks for the Royal Rumble.
they actually mentioned a couple times, like, here's a similar spot, that sort of thing.
Sure. And that's like, it's better to mention it on commentary. Don't act like nobody can see it. Say, oh, this is similar. I wonder if they got that idea from them. Or this is how you can tell these wrestlers are competing on the same caliber. They have the same tactical thoughts. So on and so forth.
I don't know. That would have been a little on the nose.
Yeah, it sounds like Michael Cole commentary.
Oh, actually, shit. There's something I need to call out about Michael Cole's commentary and this match.
I wasn't listening. I was making Braun Strowman jokes the whole time.
Braun Strowman's music hits, and Michael Cole just casually throws out the coolest fucking line anyone said about Braun Strowman since his debut. It was something along the lines of, well, now there's a shadow at the edge of town because here comes the monster among men. And that line is so perfect that I want that shit, a shadow at the edge of town, on a shirt, and I will buy a Braun Strowman t-shirt.
I was making Braun Strowman jokes. I was making Shinsuke Nakamura jokes.
God, alright. So, no, they deserve to know the Shinsuke Nakamura joke, because once you see it, you'll never unsee it. So, Roman Reigns originally had, like, a spike, like a a railroad spike or like a crucifixion spike, weirdly, next to his 2 little Roman Reigns weird R wings that he has, right? Mm-hmm. On his personal design. It was 2 like weird stylized looking R's back to back, with the spike being the upright portion. Well, they replaced the spike bit with a Roman Reigns doing a Superman punch, so it just looks like he has weird R wings. Which is kind of a cool design.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Until we were doing a bit about, what was it? Who was talking to him?
I was saying if I were a wrestler at first, but then we decided John Cena would be best.
Yeah, John Cena was like walking up to Roman Reigns. Why do you have Shinsuke Nakamura on your chest thing there? And then Roman Reigns looks down and goes, shit, it is Shinsuke. Never gonna see that now. And he walks away. Later, John comes up to him and was like, hey man, don't talk to me. And he just walks away. He's still mad. And like throughout the match, we kept referencing it, and it increasingly became Roman Reigns. Like, it triggered him more and more.
I would love to record live commentary for you guys, but I would have to watch ourselves a little bit too much, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to be on to that degree.
Yeah. But you'd have to quarter turn it a little, like to the left, for him to look counterclockwise, for him to look properly like Shinsuke. But
it's close.
It's close. It's closer than you'd think.
But this was a good match. Also, Roman went over because fucking, of course he did.
I had pocket thoughts for Braun, but
I wouldn't have been mad if Braun won.
But they did the thing that we said that Vince McMahon confused people with a couple years ago. They made Strowman look strong. So
yeah, and in fucking glorious fashion, he eliminated everyone except Braun Strowman from the match. Everyone in the match who was eliminated by Braun Strowman, except Braun Strowman, who was eliminated by Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and it took 9 Superman punches.
I'm remembering that correctly. Will you check? They have the elimination order up on the website.
Oh yeah, he beat them all. It's really funny because it's The Miz running power slam, Elias power slam, John Cena power slam, Finn Balor power slam, Seth Rollins power slam, Braun Strowman spear.
They should make a little asterisk 8th or 9th spear. To be fair,
they had to take him down, and even then he got up afterward and wrecked Roman Reigns. So
they made him look really good.
Yeah.
They made him look really good, which is important because you want him to look strong. But there is no universe where they don't have Brock versus Roman at this WrestleMania. They've been building it too long. It's been part of their corporate policy for too long. Their entire Roman Reigns build extravaganza, where he has slowly checked off the greatest achievements of all superstars who've come before him, has been going on for too long, and it's all in service to build him up to be the one who defeats the Beast. They weren't going to change that at this late stage in the game. They weren't.
No.
Even if it would have been better, and I'm not saying it wouldn't have been better. I think there is a very, very strong case you could make that Braun Strowman would be the better contender for Brock at WrestleMania. But he was never gonna be.
I guess I'm not that fatalistic.
This is optimism versus pessimism.
Well, sure, but I didn't mean it that way.
I would have been surprised if Braun won. I wouldn't have been mad, but I would have been very surprised. In the same way I was very surprised Roman didn't win the Rumble.
Sure.
But if he didn't win the Rumble and you have to set up him versus Brock, he had to win here. If he had won the Rumble, he wouldn't have been in this match, and then Braun probably would have won that. But,
well, they would have had it on SmackDown.
possibly, or maybe they would have had Braun in that, and then he challenges for the SmackDown title.
Sure. No, that's not.
They've done less stupid things. But yeah, if the plan was to have Roman win the Rumble, Elimination Chamber would have been a SmackDown pay-per-view again. Yeah. It's just the way it is. I'm not necessarily happy or sad about it.
I'm not necessarily either. I mean, I have really no investment in the match, other than I hope Brock Lesnar loses, as I've said for Brock Lesnar's last dozen matches.
We're both on the same side for once of the Roman Reigns debate.
Not for the same reasons.
No, but hey, whatever.
I'm just really tired of Brock Lesnar.
You and everyone except Brock Lesnar and all of the dudes who buy Brock Lesnar's merch, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, that's probably a pretty significant chunk of people because he's still here.
Yes, that's what I meant. That's why I said unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it would be a different story if he competed week to week, but that's not what he is. I just don't like him being champion. I don't mind him being a spectacle fighter. I don't mind him being on the card. And I'm a little disappointed because Braun and Brock put on good matches, and I feel like they set up really good storytelling with the Royal Rumble match.
They put on good car wrecks.
Yeah. Well, what's a Brock Lesnar match?
A car wreck. To be fair, him and Goldberg put on good matches when Goldberg decided to have a wrestling match. It was a fun car wreck, but I think the Roman match can be really good. I don't know that it will be, but I think it can be.
I just don't have a dog in the race,
Yes, you do. You have a dog in the race now. Unless you want 4 more years of Brock Lesnar, you and I are in camp for Big Dog.
You yelled at me when I did it.
That's because you didn't do the wiggle. The wiggle's important.
Regardless, that was Elimination Chamber. Up and down, it was fine. It was good. I thumbs up.
Yeah, same. I think we're done here.
Tune in next week when we do another podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hot.